Steve Ray, exit 425, it's where we live. A few weeks ago, had the opportunity to speak to council on May 12th exactly. And it was the public meeting to discuss the draft plan for the Courtice Waterfront secondary plan. I stood and spoke in opposition to the residential component of that plan, and I was given 5 minutes. Now, apparently it used to be 10 minutes, and now it's 5. And if you go over the 5, the council that's there will consider and will vote on whether they allow you to extend it to 7. Eventually the mayor, in fairness, was tired of voting every time there was a delegate because so many people were needing the 7 minutes. So he just had it extended to 7 minutes. That wasn't retroactive, so I didn't get a chance to get up and speak again. So what I'm doing is presenting to you what I had planned initially that would have taken more than 5 minutes, but still not quite 7 minutes if I had had the opportunity of 7 minutes. So here we are, Steve Ray, exit 425. Today's guest at exit 425.
In the main corridor of exit 425.
Local politicians to connect with families.
What are some unique challenges?
Thanks very much, Steve, for having me.
Exit 425. It's where we live. Missed opportunities are tough stats to record. We hear that term used in all kinds of situations, business, sports. Clarington is staring a missed opportunity down, and not for the first time. With Durham's population projected to grow to over 1 million and Clarington having 220,000 of that by 2051, some planning is needed to get out ahead of that. When I asked the mayor about the suggestion that had been made to me by a couple of people that the town had the opportunity to buy the land currently occupied by Algoma Orchards, land that used to be farmed by some of the most famous Courtice families, I suggested $4 million was the amount required. The mayor said it was more than 4, but he and Councillor Wu had considered the purchase, then moved on, concerned of the cost to the community. That was a missed opportunity, but there was no real threat to development at that point, so was it really? Fast forward a few years to 2021 when I start asking about the waterfront, because a huge issue was the potential for an anaerobic digester to be added to the sewage treatment plant, nuclear plants, waste energy incinerator, and other warehouse-type operations moving into the exit 425 area. I called it the agglomeration of ick. Then Councillors Neal and Jones told me they were hopeful that by the end of the 2022 term, a deal for the waterfront park would be cinched and shovel-ready. The mayor echoed that desire as well. The excitement for a waterfront park was there. As time evolved, it was starting to sound like the GO Train story, and in 2022, plans were published that showed that a good chunk of the land would be committed with commercial and residential that made it seem that Grimsby on the Lake would be coming to Courtice. The proximity of the development to the provincial park was stunning. It seemed that our provincial representatives were unaware of the plans. Then Minister David Piccini claimed to be unaware of the town's plans. Mr. McCarthy similarly. The lack of vision on the part of the MPPs and eventual Minister of Parks, etc., was as disturbing as their lack of responsiveness. As Clarington grows, it seems that a large recreational park on the waterfront would be the best thing for the community. There is no recreational area like Toronto's Sunnybrook Park or Oshawa's Lakeview Park anywhere along the lakeshore in Clarington. A community with 34 kilometers of lakeshore, just 4 kilometers less than Broward County or Fort Lauderdale. Imagine if they had the amount of access that Clarington has. All that and no waterfront restaurants, something that is still not considered in the newest plan. A park like that right now would be a great host for Ribfest. Instead, we have a new plan that has 2,500 units of housing with 300 meters of the lake and in places stacked 15 stories high. I'm sorry to say that my comparisons to Grimsby on the Lake are pretty accurate. Furthermore, the high-rise buildings will be within 500 meters of the provincial park boundary, which is completely lined by the development from Darlington Park Road to the southern 300-meter limit from the lake. It stuns me that our mayor is not pounding down the door of the premier, the man whose government is responsible for the Build More Homes Faster Act and the current Bill 5, Protect Ontario by Unleashing Its Economy, as well as Bill 17, to find a way to protect the integrity of the provincial park and protect this lakeshore legacy for the booming population in Clarington. The mayor challenged my vision by indicating the province's priority is housing, but even that number of units can be provided in other developments among the development that is inevitable throughout Clarington over the coming years. We get one shot at this because Waterfront is not renewable. We cannot generate lakefront or units of it anywhere else. Why not reach out to our new Prime Minister, who has indicated he wishes to establish urban national parks? Two of the last three ministers responsible for provincial parks have been Clarington MPPs and have established and extended Big Wind Provincial Park, Charleston Lake Provincial Park, and Uxbridge Urban Provincial Park, all areas with no threat of development. The mayor also indicated that it would be impossible to develop a full park that size given the cost. As long as it's protected, that does not matter. 2,500 units of housing plus new roads and commercial developments do little for the park potential in 20 to 30 years when we really need it. And what about the cost and the inevitability of an OLT challenge? This is why you need to get the premier involved and get a deal done. We host one of the country's most significant nuclear stations and are hosting the nation's first SMR, never mind becoming the waste sink for Durham with the sewage plant and waste incinerator. Oh, and the anaerobic digester is more on hold than it is dead. When asked why the region wanted it here, the chair indicated that Oshawa has paid its price. Plus, we are easily outvoted at regional council. The landowner, as Councillor Alhaje has reminded us, could have gone the MZO route many years ago, but has not. It appears to me that this huge employer in Clarington has done pretty well for the community, so this is an opportunity to compensate the landowner appropriately and to get a win for the community. Clarington has paid enough of a price with its waterfront. I compare Courtice's waterfront to the stinky frontier nature of Niagara Falls, New York, including its past of industrial development along the river. What a shame that Clarington has not learned from that lesson. In the hockey playoffs, Winnipeg seized the opportunity to have a chance to move on to the second round by working hard and scoring with 1.6 seconds left. A hesitation to shoot would have been a huge missed opportunity. This will be a huge missed opportunity, and there appears to be 1.6 seconds left. I call on council to present all of these plans to the community as you petition them regarding parks and recreation, but provide the option of a Sunnybrook Park style park as an option. Steve Jobs once credited Henry Ford saying, I think Henry Ford once said, if I had asked customers what they wanted, they would have told me a faster horse. People don't know what they want until you show it to them. Trails, soccer and cricket and rugby pitches, places where you could host a charity run, maybe even in tandem with Darlington Provincial Park. Picnic areas. As your community becomes more populated with high-density pockets, this type of park will become extremely critical. Host presentations with councillors and mayors. Find out what the community really thinks. The consultation in 2022 took place virtually and was not well attended. Plans have changed somewhat, so it really behooves the town to get it out there again, and not in the summer, but in the fall when the arenas, pools, and other facilities are busy. I also encourage our municipal officials, elected and otherwise, to not short-sheet the community 20 to 30 years out when our population is projected to be 220,000 by using all of your political acumen to exhort our provincial and federal officials, some of whom have made parks of any kind more difficult to secure. Build More Homes Faster and Bill 5, Protect Ontario by Unleashing Our Economy have handcuffed local politicians. Already this year, I've seen more people than ever on the Tooley's Mill Trail and at the waterfront. What about creative financing? Seemed to help initiate the construction of the Mondo residence. Obviously, there are more financial tools the higher the level of government that is intervening. What about a sewage tax on sewage that arrives from outside of Clarington? This plan is terrible for the well-being of our community, now and in the future. It is clear that this council has not made our waterfront much of a priority in the 38 years I have lived here, based on the changes that have happened. This has to be a priority. This is your shot. This is your one opportunity. There are 1.5 seconds left. You're still thinking about that sewage tax. Steve Ray, exit 425. It's where we live.